A historic hotel with a dark past, a young tourist who suddenly vanished, and a final, chilling video that baffled the entire world. For 19 days, the disappearance of Elisa Lam was a global mystery, sparking countless theories that ranged from the paranormal to the downright sinister. But the truth of what happened in her final moments is more tragic and more real than any conspiracy. This is the official timeline of her final 19 days. In January 2013, Elisa Lam, a bright and adventurous 21-year-old student from the University of British Columbia, set off on a solo trip down the American West Coast. She chronicled her journey on her Tumblr blog, Nouvelle Nouveau, giving the world a glimpse into her mind. Her posts revealed a thoughtful, introspective, and at times, deeply vulnerable young woman grappling with life, loneliness, and her recent bipolar disorder diagnosis. She wrote openly about her struggles, almost as if she was creating a space where she could finally feel understood. "Fellow bipolars," she wrote in one post, "you may be the only ones who understand what this is like." Her blog was a window into her world, a world filled with ambition, anxiety, and a profound desire to connect with others. She called the trip her West Coast tour, and it was meant to be an escape. After a stop in San Diego, she made her way to Los Angeles. On January 26, 2013, she checked into the Cecil Hotel in downtown LA. The hotel, which also ran a budget-friendly hostel called Stay on Main, had a reputation. It was infamous, located near Skid Row with a long, sordid history of untimely deaths, and as a one-time home to serial killers like Richard Ramirez. For Elisa, it was just an affordable stop on her journey. She was initially placed in a shared, hostel-style room, but just a few days into her stay, her roommates complained about what they called odd behavior. In response, the hotel management moved her into a private room on the same floor. This would be one of the first documented signs that something was wrong. January 31st, 2013, was the day Elisa was supposed to check out of the Cecil Hotel and head north to Santa Cruz. Throughout her entire trip, she called her parents back in British Columbia every single day. It was their comforting routine. But on that day, the calls stopped. Earlier, she'd been seen at a local shop called The Last Bookstore. The manager, Katie Orphan, later remembered her as outgoing, very lively, very friendly, picking out books and music to take home to her family. It was a moment of perfect normalcy that stood in stark contrast to everything that came next. When Elisa didn't check out, and days went by with no word, her parents in Vancouver grew frantic. They reported her missing, and the Los Angeles Police Department launched an investigation. Her family immediately flew to Los Angeles to help with the search. Police searched her hotel room, but found nothing suggesting foul play. All of her belongings were still there: her laptop, her wallet, her ID, and her prescription medications. It was as if she had just walked out of the room and ceased to exist. The LAPD brought in police dogs to search the hotel, including hallways, public areas, and even the rooftop, but the dogs couldn't pick up her scent. The search was extensive, but because the hotel was still operating, they couldn't legally search every single room without probable cause. For days, the investigation was at a standstill. Elisa Lam was gone, and nobody had a clue where. With the investigation stalled, the LAPD made a move on February 14th that would turn the case into a global internet obsession. They released a video from one of the Cecil Hotel's elevators, recorded on February 1st. It showed the last known sighting of Elisa Lam. The footage was just over 2 minutes long, silent, and deeply unsettling. The video shows Elisa, in a red hoodie, stepping into the elevator and pressing a whole panel of buttons. But the doors don't close. She waits, then peeks cautiously out into the hallway, looking both ways before darting back inside. She presses herself into the corner, as if she's hiding from someone. When the doors still won't close, she steps out again and begins making a series of strange, deliberate hand gestures. Her movements seem almost conversational, as if she's talking to someone just out of frame, but no one else has ever seen. Finally, she walks away. Only then do the elevator doors mysteriously close, open, and close again. The footage went viral instantly. A massive community of online web sleuths popped up on forums like Reddit and YouTube, all dedicated to solving the puzzle. Theories exploded. Was she being chased? Was she playing a bizarre ritual, like the Korean elevator game, which some claimed could open a portal to another dimension? Was a hotel employee who could control the elevator involved? Body language experts and amateur sleuths dissected every single frame. Some said her gestures showed fear. Others saw playfulness or severe distress. The video was so strange and ambiguous that it became a Rorschach test for everyone's deepest fears. The LAPD had hoped the video would bring in solid leads, but instead, it unleashed a whirlwind of speculation and conspiracy that completely overshadowed the official investigation. It was a haunting final image, a 2-minute puzzle that nobody could solve. For 19 days, that baffling video was all anyone had. The mystery left the world with far more questions than answers. If you're finding this timeline compelling, please hit the like button and subscribe for more factual deep dives into these complex cases. Now, let's get back to the investigation, where a series of disturbing complaints at the hotel was about to lead to a horrifying breakthrough. While the internet was spiraling with conspiracy theories, a grim situation was quietly unfolding inside the Cecil Hotel. By mid-February, guests started complaining. The water pressure in the rooms was unusually low. More disturbingly, the water itself was discolored, smelled foul, and had a strange, sweetish taste. On the morning of February 19, 2013, a hotel maintenance worker, Santiago Lopez, was sent to investigate. He went to the roof, where 4 massive 1,000-gallon water tanks supplied the hotel. Access to the roof was restricted, the doors were locked and alarmed for staff only. Lopez used a ladder to get to the top of the giant tanks. He later recalled noticing that the hatch on one of the main tanks was open. He looked inside. Floating face up in the dark water, only about a foot from the top, was a body. It was the decomposed, naked body of a woman. The Los Angeles police and fire departments rushed to the scene. The body was quickly identified as Elisa Lam. The 19-day search was over. Her clothes, matching what she wore in the elevator video, were found at the bottom of the tank along with her room key. The tank had to be drained and then cut open, as its main hatch was too small to get her body out. The grim discovery finally answered where Elisa was, but it raised even more disturbing questions. How did she get onto a secured roof? How did she get inside a massive water tank? And if she was alone, how was the heavy lid closed? With the discovery of Elisa's body, the case shifted from a missing person investigation to a death investigation. The LA County Coroner's Office performed an autopsy. The initial results were inconclusive, but after a full toxicology screening, the final report released in June 2013 was clear. The official cause of death was an accidental drowning, with her bipolar disorder listed as a significant contributing factor. Here's what the evidence showed. The autopsy found no signs of physical trauma, sexual assault, or suicide. There was no foul play. Toxicology tests found no traces of alcohol or illegal drugs. However, they did analyze the levels of her prescription medication. Elisa had been prescribed an antidepressant, a mood stabilizer, and an anticonvulsant for her bipolar disorder. The report revealed that while she had traces of these drugs in her system, the levels suggested she had been under-medicating or perhaps had stopped taking her medication altogether. This finding was the key to understanding the entire tragedy. Her family had told investigators that Elisa had a history of doing this, and that it had previously led to psychotic episodes that included hallucinations and delusions so severe she had to be hospitalized. Experts concluded that her bizarre behavior in the elevator wasn't a reaction to a real threat, but the outward sign of a severe psychotic episode. In that altered state of reality, she likely believed she was in danger and was desperately trying to hide. This probably led her to the rooftop, seeking a place she thought was safe. So how did she get there? While the main doors were locked and alarmed, police found that the roof was accessible via the hotel's fire escape, which wouldn't trigger an alarm. From there, she would have had to climb a series of ladders to reach the top of the water tanks. The maintenance worker stated the tank's lid was open when he found her. It's believed that in her disoriented state, she climbed into the tank to hide. She may have removed her clothes to swim, or she may have experienced paradoxical undressing, a strange phenomenon in hypothermia where a person feels intensely hot and removes their clothing. Once she was inside, there was no easy way out. The sides of the tank were high, and the water level, which would have dropped as hotel guests used it, would have made it impossible to climb out. She drowned, alone in the dark water. It was a tragic, accidental death born from a severe mental health crisis. This official conclusion debunks the wild conspiracy theories. There was no ghost, no killer, and no cover-up. The infamous tuberculosis test named Elisa was a tragic coincidence. The musician Morbid, who was viciously targeted by online sleuths, was in Mexico when she died. The truth, determined by experts, wasn't sinister, it was just heartbreakingly sad. The 19-day timeline of Elisa Lam's disappearance is a story that started with the hopeful adventure of a young woman and ended in a devastating accident. She checked into the Cecil Hotel on January 26th, a vibrant student excited to see the world. She was last seen alive on January 31st, but the world would remember her from a 2-minute video that captured the terrifying confusion of a psychotic episode. For 19 days, she was missing, her case fueling global speculation. And on February 19th, she was found, bringing a tragic end to the search. The real story of Elisa Lam isn't one of paranormal horror or deep-state conspiracies. It's a profoundly human and tragic story about the silent struggles of mental illness. Her own words from her blog give us a glimpse into her mind, a place of both incredible light and profound darkness. The official investigation revealed that her private battle, complicated by her stopping her medication, led her to a state of paranoia that resulted in her accidental death. It's a somber reminder that sometimes the most baffling mysteries have the most devastatingly simple and human explanations. The Elisa Lam case is a powerful reminder of the importance of compassion when it comes to mental health. What are your thoughts on how this case was handled and portrayed in the media? Share them respectfully in the comments below. And if you'd like more factual deep dives into true crime stories, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.